Hello, this is Gregoire from Greg's Whiskey Guide. You can call me Greg. And this is another whiskey review for the YouTube channel and in English, and it's called Discrete Malt. And I'm going to explain you why. First of all, thank you for subscribing. Thank you to the previous followers and to the new ones. I appreciate it. It's the second version of this review, which was a bit too long, and I did several tasting, maybe probably too much, so I'm just gonna stick it to the presentation and only 2 tastings for this one. There might be a part 2, I don't know, we'll see, because I've selected 14 whiskies on my table to illustrate my topic. And of course it's too long for a single video. But the idea behind that is the fact I wanted to do a video about blended whiskies, and I thought prior to that it could be interesting to cover whiskies that are a bit overlooked because they're not big names of the whiskey industry, or they don't provide official bottlings very often, or even not at all. And also the fact that these whiskies, these single malts from Scotland, it's the choice today, almost only exist as single malts and not only fillers for blends, because they are bottled by independent companies, independent bottling companies. So yeah, we gotta be grateful to these independent companies to bottle those whiskies. Otherwise, we would almost never hear about them or distinguish them within blended whiskies, where often, let's remind it, there's only around 25% out of 100% of malt content, whereas the other content is grain whiskey and mainly corn whiskey in Scotland. So yeah, except some high-end blended whiskies where the content can reach 40% or 50% malted whiskies, otherwise it's rather 25%. And to provide consistency over the years and the batches, often the master blender chooses to use from, let's say, minimum 15, 20, 30 to 60 single malts, for instance, in low quantities, but 60 single malts. That means that if some lack of stock is getting suddenly appear, they can replace it. They consider they can replace it by another one with similar aroma profile. So okay, so there was the overall presentation. These distilleries I'm talking about are producing from 1,400, I think, yeah, liters of alcohol per year for Knockando, for instance, which exists as an official singles with almost 4 expressions currently, but is not regarded as an important single malt. Besides, it is probably the most underestimated, or the cheapest in the market. If we consider a 21 years old from this distillery is around maybe 60 euros in France. While if you want an Ardbeg, which is much more speculative, let's add a 0 to that. So for 21 years old, I guess you won't find the same kind of price. So yeah, it goes from 1,400 to, if I'm not mistaken, 5,000, sorry, 900 liters per annum for this distillery. It's not an official bottling, this is an independent one. It's difficult to pronounce. Most of these distilleries, all are from the Speyside, and some are from the Highlands. Okay, so I'm gonna put back the distilleries. We're not gonna specifically taste today, maybe, and put them in order on the table. So yeah, I picked up also Ardmore. This is an official bottling. The previous one, now it's called a Legacy. This one was called a traditional cask. No age statement. Why I picked up this one, and a beautiful indie bottling for whiskey base, Dutch whiskey, Dutch bottling. It's a bit an old one, 2012, but a beautiful one. Because often archives provide interesting values to discover these distilleries, for instance. Same for Jan McLeod with the Chieftain. It has been a bit repackaged since this, but this is a port finish single malt with 2 casks only. And also, of course, while I'm talking about indie bottlers who highlighted these less known distilleries, we have to mention Cadenhead, which is probably one of the most interesting values today for small batches, single malts and single casks. By the way, 76 years of existence, and the oldest single cask bottler in Scotland. Then around 125 or a bit more for Gordon MacPhail, of course. This is a Benriach. It's not the subject today, but it was to show you bottling from Gordon MacPhail. We have also, of course, Duncan Teller has pretty old stock, a lot of stock of old whiskies, well, still now. And also we have Signature Vintage, Adelphi, we have Wims, Malts. We have a lot of indie bottlers. It'll probably be a whole topic to cover another time. Others I picked up, and we're going to try it later on. It's the Balmenach 12, and this one is an indie bottling, but it looks like a bit an official one. I'm going to explain you why. Also a distillery I like a lot, which is called Breval. I'm going to explain you a bit more about this one. And you might still find this from Dusling, another great indie bottler we have to mention here, also for making us discover other distilleries. We have an amazing example of an old official bottling from Allied Distillers. Yeah, the end of the 90s here, and with Glenbergie, 15 years old. Glenbergie belongs to Pernod-Ricard, and you can barely find an official version. It's difficult to get one. Now they're more into highlighting its content, the fact that it is in Ballantine blended whiskey, an important component of it. Then, like I said, Glenlossie, which is a distillery I like a lot, with a lot of character. For me, it's a bit of a Speyside-ish, Kleinlich, let's say. Also an impressive one, which is rarely bottled as an official great distillery, Inchcover. This is a rare official one. 14 years old. You might still find it. It's a cracker. Recommend it. Like I said, Knockando. Here's the 18 years old. It's a good value for 40 euros, something like that. A bit sherried. Then we have 2 bottlings from the same indie bottler, or say retailer, which is Risque du Perron. It's a French company which produces cognacs mostly, and also they sell wines, but they also sell whiskies. I previously had in this brand Port Ellen, yes, 21 years old Port Ellen, bottled in 2004, and it's gone now, but it was absolutely beautiful. So here I have a Strathmill, another distillery I like a lot, and these distilleries are mostly served by independent bottlers, but Strathmill doesn't come across so often as Tinninich. Tinninich is from the Northern Islands. It shares some characteristics flavor-wise with Kleinlich, and that maybe that's why John Glaser likes it a lot to use in his blended malts. It is said, so take it please with a pinch of salt, that these are probably, maybe, bottled, sourced from Gordon MacPhail or Douglas Lang, and then bottled bespoke for Riz du Perron shop in France. So, who knows? These are a bit old bottlings, but the company still exists and they still bottle the single malts through the Captain Burns range. Okay, I could have talked about was a bit overlooked and not often on the shelves. Single malts, Sam-Neveline. There's now an official, I think, Noich statement version of it. Tomintoul, many others, and also Tormore. Despite they have official expressions, well, 14 and 16 years old. This is a 16. So yeah, basically these whiskies, these single malts belong to, if I have a quick look here, they belong mainly to Diageo, to Bacardi, Ardmore's to Beam Century, for instance, Ochrosk. There is an official version, some official versions of the singleton of Ochrosk, but it doesn't come across often on the shelves. So Ochrosk belonged to Diageo. Breville, which was previously known as Brace of Glenlivet, belongs to Pernod-Ricard. Balmenach belongs to Thai Beverage PLC, which also owns Waidamakai blends and also the brands Dalmore and Jura. Glenmorangie is a Pernod-Ricard brand, like I said previously. Glenlossie belongs to Diageo. I forgot to name Glenspey, Mittendorf, Glentockers, well, and there's others. Then also Strathmill belongs to Diageo, Tinninich as well. So yeah, you see, it's 3 or 4 great owners, companies, big, not great necessarily, but big, that owns these. And yeah, so I picked up 2 whiskies for today, because I can't try too many for you. So I picked up 2 interesting examples. Here the Balmenach, which is a 12 years old. It's the Deer Stoker brand, and it's sometimes confusing because in the same range where I think there was a Breville 10 years old. I had it before, but there's 1 or 2 others I think as well. I saw other distilleries, not sure of, so I don't want to mistake here. And this is interesting because it's, if you look at the label, it says bottled by Aberco Limit, and Aberco is the short name for Aberfoyle and Knight. And if you look a bit on the internet, you understand that they are the only ones that bottled Balmenach for a long time. Balmenach has been mothballed in 1993 and reopened in 1998, but it barely provides official single malts, and it is served by indie bottlers, but not very often. Balmenach produces 2,800 liters per annum, They've been opened in 1824, and weirdly they did do for a short time, let's say 4 years, 6 years, they do produce heavily peated stock at a time for I think, yeah, 400,000, yeah, liters. So at the time they were doing very heavily peated whiskies. I only tried one which was not so heavily peated, but well peated, and it was interesting. It was another profile than Islay whiskies and even Speyside whiskies. Though they aren't Speysides, they have 6 stills, and now they're producing more than officially they're producing sour and gin, more than highlighting the single malt they produce, which is not so much used for blends, maybe for white and Mackay, but they don't speak a lot about it, so I just guess it's used for white and Mackay, most of the production. Blends. So yeah, we're gonna try this one. I already reviewed it. I didn't publish the review, but I have my notes because I'm not often at ease before the camera. So yeah, this is bourbon matured. Well, straight away, very floral, very delicate, a bit herbal. Yeah, I note some lily of the valley, some wattle or mimosa, as well as some buffalo herbs that are used for the vodka as broth, strangely. So yeah, some green notes, botanical, but mostly floral. Yeah, that's it. A slightly cardboardy over time, because it's open for a long time, appears, which I don't like a lot, but overall it's a quite balanced malt. Let's try it now. Yeah, we got on the palate the same notes, some complex floral notes. Nothing stands out, so I can't really tell what it is. Then these herbs and botanicals, maybe a bit of gentian. Also, yeah, this slight vanilla on the background. It's a bit estery as well, but very sweet. It's not very dominant. I also have some fruits, but it's very discreet. It's the theme of the day, with the white peach and maybe some kiwi. Some white pepper. It's a bit spicy, but very sweet. I forgot to mention it was bottled at 40%, and it was bottled around 2007, I think. The crazy thing, you can still find in some supermarket these bottlings, and if you find it, it's often cheap, 40–30 euros. I recommend it because it's a bit a rare thing, especially if you come across the Breville 10 years old. Is a very good bottling, I think. I'm gonna try with a few drops of water. Yeah, normally I spend a lot of more time doing reviews for my, for this shit, printed sheet, and with a lot of criteria. Everything is on my website if you want to know more how I score and how I assess whiskies. yeah, and then after I did a summary in English, so it's very difficult for me sometimes to assess a whiskey directly in English, so that's why I need my notes. Doesn't change a lot with water, but yeah, maybe it enhances the spices and this a bit almost bitter, not too much, but just a bit gentian note, some, yeah, still some white pepper, ginger, spices, and very slight note of vanilla. And I also forgot to mention, sorry, the citrus fruit, a bit of grapefruit and lemon, but very soft and no sugar at all, no sugar impression. I mean, I don't know if it's. I don't think it's chill filtered. It's not chill filtered. I mean, it's chill filtered probably, and then I think it could be colored, but slightly only. I have no certainty about it. That's it for this one. So again, don't be surprised if there's some bottlings I showed you, and I still can show you, that you were not going to find on the shelves. I'm speaking of these brands because I think you can still find in other independent bottlers. I quoted some earlier on. There's among 20, 30, 40, 50, I don't know, indie bottlers now, so I can't name them all. Even if I do a specialized topic about it, it would be too long. Okay, so yeah, so when you see those names, Balmenach, Breville, Glenbergie, Strathmill, even Ardmore, Inchgower, etc. If you have the possibility to try it before you buy, yeah, try them, and you might be finding some interesting profiles, aroma profiles that you might not find in other whiskies. So yeah, try them and be a bit more curious about names you don't come across often. So it's not Macallan, it's not Glenfiddich, but you might come across them. So we go on now to the Glenlossie. Just a few words though about Breville. I have to suppress the tasting for today because it would be too long. I don't want to be over 30 minutes to this time. This was bottled in, if I'm not mistaken, 2014. It's a 12 years old Breville in the single-minded range of Douglas Lang. It's okay, it's about 41.5. It's not high, but it's still an expressive whiskey. This one is from, I guess, Refill. It doesn't say, but for me it's probably Refill sherry, and it states 2 sherry butts are involved. Usually Breville gives it maximum for me in bourbon barrels, first fill and or part first fill and refill. I like this distillery a lot. I think they should do more things about it, and when it gets to like where it is. This one, which is a cask strength from John McDougall in the Golden Cask range. This is a very special, bottled in 2010, 56.2, only 301 bottles. Yeah, when it comes to something like that, which is, I believe, yeah, it's an old one. You have to pay attention to these kinds of things. Okay, we're gonna move on to one of my favorites of year 2012, which was Glenlossie in dimensions range of Duncan Taylor in the Butler. Well, I hesitate because it's just a quick thing to tell you. I have the occasion to try some single malts of the Octave range, which finishes the whiskies in very small casks. I think must be 40-50 liters, I don't remember. You'll find the explanations about the cask types and cask sizes on my website. I renewed that completely, so you have probably 20 kinds of cask described there. So it's worth looking to revise your ideas about the cask and the content. And so, of course, the smaller the cask is, the more it accelerates the aging. So yeah, some are a bit too woody in that Octave range, but some are absolutely fantastic. And I remember I have tried in Whisky Life Paris Royal Bracla, which is a nice distillery as well, of 4 years old only. Yes, you're hearing well, 4 years old only, but with Octave cask, and it was absolutely magnificent. Sold out everywhere. It's life. So yeah, this Glenlossie I poured a bit earlier on. It's bottled at 51.2 and it's cask 983. It's a 19 years old. I think doesn't state the cask, but for me it's probably refill sherry. Forgot to mention this distillery produces 3,700 liters per year and was built in 1876. That's it for the small details. You can find 10 years old in the Flora and Fauna range, with the same range like this one. And I haven't tried it. And you can also find, but well, it's from 2010, sorry. But it's just to say what has been produced officially. A manager's choice whiskey, which is always cask strength and single cask also. Very expensive, I think, for what it is. In all this range is very expensive. But to go back to Dimensions is a range I like a lot because it highlights most often 18 to 25 or more years old whiskies, and often it's the distilleries at their peak. So yeah, this is Glenlossie for me has always been, as far as I tried them, very fruity, very spicy, a lot of character in this single malt, and this one does fail to provide these notes, of course. The nose is absolutely crazy with already something very strong in the expression of the fruitiness, spiciness, but also the green notes. It's a very complex malt. So you have these Earl Grey notes, Earl Grey tea, and a bit of bergamot notes that I like a lot in Speyside whiskies, in some Speyside whiskies. This one is one of the best to provide that, with also some orange, candied orange peel. Also have some botanicals on the second ground, and what did I note? Yeah, dried herbs and a bit of bitterness. You can feel it, not taste it already. Yeah, we're gonna try it first. Yeah, there's ginger, there's a bit of chili pepper, and those beautiful orange notes I like a lot. And you know, some yellow peach. Yeah, maybe a slightly licorice note. It's interesting to nose the whiskey diluted, once diluted, not only to taste it, but it opens up the flavors. Don't hesitate to add 2 drops of water. Yeah, this is the same on the palate, with a lot of orange, a lot of tea. It's a very tea-ish malt, like I said, all grey with a touch of bergamot. There's some black tea underneath it, and also the spice that lingers a lot up to the finish, with the ginger, some pepper as well. Yeah, some chili pepper, but not too strong. And yeah, there's a vanilla underneath it, and there's some pastry topping for the millefeuille, if you heard of this French pastry called millefeuille. In English it's translated to 1,000 leaves, but I don't know if you can make something out of it on your computer. I don't have it now, sorry to show you. Yes, you know, the icing on some pastries, which you can find almond paste, but also some creamy sugary thing. Yeah, so this is a very appealing single malt for me. That's it. Thanks for watching. Cheers, and see you later on. Bye bye.